Since 1855, when Brooklynites established a local branch of the new Republican Party, men and women, just like those of you here tonight, have worked together for a better future. The issues that brought us together have changed over the years, from ending slavery and ridding the world of National Socialism, to making our streets safe and wiping out cowardly terrorists. As Republicans, we have accomplished great things. To paraphrase Ronald Reagan, because we dare to dream big dreams. 20 years ago, most people laughed when we said we could turn New York City around and make it safer. After 20 years of back-to-back Republican mayors, we now live in the safest big city in America. And there are literally tens of thousands of men and women alive today because of the crime-fighting policies enacted by these mayors. Those same Republican policies have transformed Brooklyn neighborhoods, once considered unlivable, into some of the most vibrant and desirable places to live on the East Coast. Times Square may be what tourists and out-of-towners use to validate the transformation of our city. But those of you who live here know that the real sign of New York's turnaround are neighborhoods like Williamsburg here in Brooklyn. And as spectacular and dramatic as our city's rebirth has been, deep down we know how precarious and fragile these gains are. Already, a pack of unimpressive Democratic candidates for mayor are actively competing to champion the most extreme, the most backwards, the most dangerous kind of campaign platform of 2013. As New Yorkers, we don't want to go backwards. We know what it was like in those days. We won't let them erase all the progress we've made. We won't let them turn our streets, our schools, and entire neighborhoods back into the hands of violent criminals. Just as importantly, we won't sit back and watch jobs and economic growth leak out of our city. See, as Ronald Reagan also said, the best social program is a job. That's why in this year's mayoral race, we've turned to the only candidate with an actual record of creating jobs. John Katzimatidis, who you heard from earlier, is not a bureaucrat. He's a man who came to this country with very little, and through hard work and perseverance, made a success of himself across many businesses and multiple industries. You see, ladies and gentlemen, that's the kind of broad experience we need in our next mayor. And it's why I am proud to endorse John Katzimatidis. Looking forward, Republicans in New York State are at a crossroads. In Albany, we've seen repeated Republican campaign opportunities squandered by an insider approach that leaves voters completely unimpressed. An alliance with independent Democrats that could have transformed state government by enacting strict term limits, independent redistricting, and an end to the abuse of public authorities. But instead, what do we see? We see Republican legislators as willing co-conspirators in the enactment of the Democratic Party's traditional platform of more government and less freedom. All of it presided over by a governor who has to use $140 million in slick TV commercials to convince people that New York is a business-friendly place again. Maybe voters in Iowa would be fooled. The governor's problem is that New Yorkers know better because we live here. We know how difficult it is to start a business in what we used to call the Empire State. We know how hard it is to keep a business going in what has become the Vampire State. Taxes and regulation are strangling jobs and innovation. That's why New York State ranks at the very bottom of every major index of the states when it comes to business friendliness. And one of the best opportunities for new jobs and new economic growth in the energy field has been stalled by a lack of leadership and a paralyzing fear of offending Democratic special interest groups. Some Democrats may still be fascinated by the governor's approach to tough decisions. The rest of us have seen it all before, and we were bored with the original Hamlet on the Hudson. Unfortunately, the current Albany revival isn't any better. That's why we need to retake the governorship next year and bring real jobs, real growth, and real leadership to Albany. but it won't be easy. Some people in our party have gotten comfortable with the way things in Albany are done. But ladies and gentlemen, that must change, and that must change now. Member items, one of the most corrupting and abused tools in the legislature, need to be eliminated. If a local project or organizations deserve to be funded, then it should be funded directly out of the state budget, not subject to the whims of local legislators. And if there's anything we've learned in recent months, it is that the member item program is a breeding ground for Albany and City Hall corruption. A Brooklyn campaign for governor in 2014 must be first and foremost a reform campaign for governor. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and a privilege for me to serve as your chairman of the Republican Party in this great county of Kings. And I look forward to continuing to serve you and to work with you to build, grow, and strengthen the Republican Party in the city, state, and nation. Thank you, and God bless each and every one of you.